Let me ask you something, and I want you to really think about this. What do you believe makes you irresistible to a man? Is it the dress you spent 2 hours choosing? The heels that make your legs look amazing? The makeup you perfected down to the last stroke? Now, what if I told you that while those things are lovely, they're not what makes a man stop in his tracks? What if the sexiest things you can wear have almost nothing to do with what's hanging in your closet? Stay with me, because today, we're talking about the top 9 sexiest things women wear according to men, and darling, some of these might surprise you. Not because they're scandalous or provocative, but because they're deeply rooted in something far more powerful than fabric or fashion. They're rooted in energy, in presence, in the kind of confidence that doesn't need to announce itself. See, most women spend their lives trying to look a certain way to be desired. But the women who truly captivate men, they've learned something different. They've learned that attraction isn't about perfection. It's about magnetism. And magnetism comes from the inside out. So if you've ever wondered what really makes a man lean in, pay attention, and feel drawn to you on a level he can't even explain, you're in the right place. You know what's interesting? When researchers actually ask men what they find most attractive about women, the answers are rarely what the fashion industry would have you believe. It's not about the tightest dress or the most revealing outfit. It's about something far more subtle and far more intoxicating. Let's start here, a genuine smile. I know, you might be thinking that's it, a smile. But hear me out. A real smile, one that comes from a place of inner warmth, joy and openness, does something extraordinary. It signals to a man that you're emotionally available, that you're present, that you're not guarded or performing, but actually here in this moment with him. And psychologically, that's huge. Because men are drawn to women who radiate positive energy, not forced positivity, not fake enthusiasm, but that soft, easy joy that says I'm comfortable in my own skin and I enjoy life. When you smile like that, you're not just beautiful, you're magnetic. Think about the last time you saw a woman who just lit up a room. Not because of what she was wearing, but because of the warmth she carried. That's the power of a genuine smile. It's an invitation. It's vulnerability without weakness. It's femininity in its purest form. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. The sexiest thing you can wear isn't something you buy. It's confidence. And I'm not talking about the loud, performative kind. I'm talking about the quiet assurance that comes from knowing your worth. The way you walk into a room, the way you hold yourself, the way you speak without apologizing for taking up space. Men feel this. They might not be able to articulate it, but they absolutely feel it. Because confidence is a form of self-respect, and self-respect is deeply, deeply attractive. When you carry yourself like you matter, because you do, you don't need to try so hard. You don't need to shrink or hustle for approval. You just are. And that ease, that's what stops a man in his tracks. It's the woman who doesn't need validation, but welcomes connection. The woman who knows she's enough, whether he sees it or not. That's the energy that doesn't just attract men, it magnetizes them on a soul level. But let's get practical for a moment. What about actual clothing? Here's the truth. Men notice when something fits you well, not tight. not oversized, just well. Because when something fits, it means you understand your body. You're not hiding. You're not overcompensating. You're honoring yourself. And there's something incredibly sexy about a woman who dresses for her body, not the body she thinks she should have. It shows self-awareness. It shows taste. And yes, it shows confidence again. So whether it's a blazer, a sundress, or your favorite jeans, when it fits like it was made for you, you glow. And he notices. I've seen women transform not by changing their wardrobe, but by choosing pieces that actually celebrate their shape. When you stop fighting your body and start dressing it with respect, something shifts. You walk differently. You breathe differently. And men pick up on that shift immediately. Now let's talk about color, specifically red. There's a reason red has been associated with passion, power, and femininity for centuries. Psychologically, red increases heart rate. It draws the eye. It signals boldness and presence. When you wear red, you're not blending in, you're owning the room. But here's the thing. It's not just about the color. It's about the energy you bring while wearing it. Red works because it amplifies what's already there. So if you're feeling powerful, sensual, or playful, red becomes the visual echo of that inner state. And men, they absolutely pick up on that frequency. Red says, I'm here, I'm alive, and I'm not afraid to be seen. It's feminine fire. It's the color of a woman who knows her desires and isn't ashamed of them. And that authenticity in color form, absolutely captivating. But you know what else they notice? Something you might not even think about? Your scent. Not perfume that announces you from across the room. I'm talking about that subtle, signature fragrance that lingers just enough to be memorable. Something warm, something soft, something unmistakably you. Because scent is tied to memory and emotion in a way that visuals simply aren't. When a man catches your scent, even faintly, it creates an imprint. It becomes part of how he remembers you, part of how he feels when you're near. So choose a fragrance you love, something that makes you feel beautiful. Because when you feel it, he'll sense it too. There's an intimacy to scent that goes beyond words. It's primal. It's emotional. It's the way he'll remember you long after you've left the room. That's not superficial. That's chemistry meeting consciousness. Let's shift gears for a moment. Men love when you wear something slightly unexpected, not outrageous, not attention-seeking, just a little off-script. Maybe it's a leather jacket with a feminine dress. Maybe it's bold earrings with a simple outfit. Maybe it's a vintage piece that tells a story. Because when you step outside the safe zone of what everyone else is wearing, you reveal personality. You show that you think for yourself, that you're not trying to fit a mold. And darling, that individuality, that's incredibly attractive. It says, I'm not like everyone else, and I don't need to be. Men are wired to notice what stands out, not in a flashy way, but in an authentic way. When your style reflects your inner world, when it tells a story only you can tell, you become unforgettable. You become more than just beautiful. You become intriguing. Now here's something that isn't clothing at all, but it might be the most powerful thing on this list. Eye contact. Real, steady, unguarded eye contact. The kind that says, I see you, and I'm not afraid to let you see me. Because most people, men included, spend their lives hiding, playing it safe, keeping walls up. But when you look at a man with presence, with warmth, with that quiet confidence we talked about earlier, you create intimacy. You create connection. You make him feel felt. And that, my love, is deeply, achingly sexy. Eye contact is the bridge between two souls. It's where words fall away and truth remains. When you can hold a man's gaze without fear. Without performing, you invite him into a deeper experience of you. And very few women do this anymore. So when you do, you become the exception he can't forget. But here's what might surprise you most. Men are drawn to women who wear clothes they actually feel good in. Not what's trendy. Not what's supposed to be sexy. But what makes you feel like yourself. Because when you're comfortable, when you're at ease, when you're not fidgeting or second-guessing, your energy is clear. Your presence is undeniable. You know those mornings when you throw on something simple and suddenly feel amazing? That energy, that's what he's responding to. Not the outfit. The version of you that shows up when you're aligned with yourself. It's the difference between wearing something and embodying something. And men feel that difference, even if they can't name it. They're drawn to the woman who feels at home in her skin, in her clothes, in her life. And finally, let me leave you with this one. The sexiest thing you can wear is less effort and more ease. I'm talking about the messy bun. The minimal makeup. The natural, unfiltered version of you that isn't trying to be perfect. Because here's what men have told me time and time again. They're captivated by the woman who doesn't need to perform. The one who's just as beautiful, maybe even more so, when she's completely herself. That ease, that naturalness, that lack of trying, it signals emotional maturity. It signals self-love. And it makes a man feel like he's getting access to the real you, which is the ultimate form of intimacy. So if you've been hustling to look perfect, to be flawless, to never let him see you without your armor on, I want you to consider this. Maybe the most magnetic version of you is the one who's stopped trying so hard. Maybe she's the one he's been waiting to meet all along. Here's what I want you to take away from this. Beautiful. Attraction isn't about tricks. It's not about manipulating desire or performing femininity. It's about becoming so rooted in who you are, so comfortable in your own skin, that your presence becomes undeniable. The sexiest thing you can wear is you, fully expressed, fully alive, fully here. So I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you wear that makes you feel unstoppable? Drop it in the comments below. Let's celebrate that energy together. And if this resonated with you, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this with a woman who needs to hear it. Because the world needs more women who know their worth. I'm Dr. Elina, and I'll see you in the next video.